Okay. Gary got it.
Okay.
There you go.
It's great.
It just dawned on me that you gotta put it in your box and it already came. Is there anything else that already fit in everybody's box? You going?
About 30 seconds. All right, we'll call this meeting to order. April 4th, 2022. We'll start with the pledge, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening, we do have two excused absences. Councilwoman Suzanne is ill, and Dave Price let me know last week it is his duty day, and so we'll go forward with the agenda. The approval of minutes. Has everyone had a chance to read last month's minutes?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
All right, Mr. Van Noy has made a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
Ron has a second. Any discussion? No. All in favor? Okay, we'll move on to people before council. Here we have the amazing Phil Script presenting.
And that wonderful introduction.
Amazing.
Amazing Phil Street.
Straight from under the bridge.
I also have my esteemed colleague, Brother Sean Steinschreiber from the Masonic Lodge here as well. And my other esteemed brother up there, Dwayne Van. So as you all probably know, we sent a pretty detailed letter. I won't bore you with all the specifics. We do intend to hold Cruise of Palooza on Saturday, June 11th again this year on the streets of Amanda. As outlined in the letter, I don't know if this has been distributed to the council, but basically the same intersections as before in years past. That would be starting on Main Street, approximately 3 foot past the entrance to the U.S. Post Office, and Amanda quick stop, not stop. Continuing northwest, stopping the intersection of McKinley Avenue with controlled access to Kingston National Bank during their open hours, right at Amanda Dental. So at the intersection of North John Street and West High Street, running across Main, the intersection of South John Street, Church Street, with controlled monitor cross alley access for all residents. We realize we can't close those down because people do have to have a way to get to their homes, garages, and businesses. Basically, actual dead hours are now confirmed. We plan on actually opening the event to the public from 10 a.m., stopping at approximately 3 p.m. Our trophy presentations would be approximately 2 p.m., which means that we would probably, once the trophies are presented, pretty much everybody gets out of there because that's what they're waiting for as far as exhibitors. We're asking for the streets to be closed down from approximately 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., knowing that we will, as in years past with the council's blessing, we will take down the barricades as soon as we have everybody out, the litter cleaned up and safe to do so. We'll put them in a convenient location that you designate for pickup, or one of our members can transport them down to wherever it is you store them around the village offices. So we would anticipate that the streets would probably, in a worst case scenario, be open before 5 p.m. All right, so we like to put that window in because you never know what's going to happen, and people linger a little longer, and people just put too much trash down. We get requests the use and activation of the power receptacle at the corner of Main and High for our disc jockey's equipment there at the corner in front of Subway. So we'll just tie in there. All he needs is 120, 130. By the way, this year, Mr. Johnny Harper himself is going to be hosting our event. So we will have music here. Unfortunately, I was sharing with Mark, I think I shared with Sharon Wade, our disc jockey, God rest his soul, he passed away over the winter. So, you know, we're going to be doing a little tribute to him too at the show as well. He's a very good man, a good friend of our show. Now, we also have a request from one of our members. I do not live in the village, so if this is ridiculous, spurious, or otherwise just nonsense, just tell me to shut up. That one of our members who lives in the village keeps, not one of our, but one of the Rages members keeps asking me if there are speakers in town still up and able to be used that a disc jockey could tie into.
I think so.
Okay, I did not know. I know years ago when they used to have a festival in the streets over there, we keep getting asked about it, by one member. So I said I would address it tonight. That's all we need to know. So no worries, no harm.
You might want to ask the firemen.
Well, I actually asked Ralph, I ran into Ralph the other night, Ralph Martins, and he said that there were speakers that you would tie into up here, and I don't know. I mean, I rode through town the other day, I sure as, you know what, don't see any on the posts up there, they're at convenient locations, so we're just gonna quit talking about that, because it wastes 10 minutes of my meeting every time we have. So, to be frank, so, we will, just to go over real quick, about 3 footnotes, we are selling sponsorships, we're doing great with sponsors. We are gonna have some people set up down, up around our lodge areas, you know, on John Street. So same as before, we'll have the sanction off, we'll control it. I did speak with the subway the other day too, if that's a concern with anybody, I did inform him. He's a very busy guy. I told him, he didn't say no, so I told him the streets would be closed that day, and I haven't had a cane raised with me, so we assume it's okay.
We like the new one.
Yeah, he seems like a good guy, and quite frankly, it'll be a hell of a good day for it, because quite honestly, you're gonna have all kinds of traffic, not everyone's gonna buy our concessions. We'll have no food other than that being served by the Grange, that'll be up there. We have no outside concession vendors, that's part of our strategy. We're gonna have our manpower, as you all know, two-way radios, everyone's gonna have radios, we'll have a plan of action. We're gonna notify the Banff Township Fire Department 30 days prior for closings at least. This time we do not anticipate it being an outdoor event, any additional protocols for COVID being necessary. And finally, we're going to be available. I myself, and you know, any of our members, that we have a pretty small committee that really plans and executes all the legwork of this. Just, you all have my number, you all know me, and you know I love to be yelled at, complained to. So if you all have any questions or any issues, give me a call, give me a text. You have my email. I may not answer depending on who it is, what time you call, but you can, you know, I got voicemail. So we are expecting, to your question, Mark, before the meeting, we estimate a grand total through traffic and attendance, God willing, weather provided, and all that good crap, probably at least 1,000 throughout the course of the day will come through the village. That'll be a mixture of our own locals and people coming in. That won't be at one time, obviously. And we anticipate a minimum with our advertising, weather permitting, 200 plus vehicles this year. So this will probably, if everything shines on us, this will probably be the biggest cruise that we ever have this year. We're putting a lot into it. So, and we really are promoting this to the local businesses, because not every business is going to see an afterglow effect, but quite frankly, whether it be the carryout, whether it be Jim's back, the truck retail down here, you don't have that many people to man for any other singular event, no matter what. This is the biggest event for Amanda, and quite frankly, it's good for Amanda that people know us, it gets the town name out. And that's, you know, I don't even like old cars, hell, I have a good time. So with that being said, all other things were made equal. Just for the council, we can pass this around. This is an example of this year's media kit. Here's new business back there. If you want to advertise, see me after the meeting.
There you go.
So that's just a copy of what we're doing. You know, we are taking credit cards this year too, by the way, for everything. Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover. So that's also for our exhibitors and for our vendors.
Nice.
So, yes, the only other question I have for you, Madam Mayor, is trash disposal. We can take care of that ourselves. Years past, there used to be a dumpster up here for the community. Is that still present? If not, we'll remove the trash.
What dumpster is for the community?
We used to have a dumpster up here. We were told the first couple of years ago. Yeah.
This one here.
Because it was part of the counter of the villages.
It's in the sanitation contract.
Yeah,
I know that there was a trustee with the fire department that had an issue with that at one point, but if it's community, it's community.
we also have one at our park. We could always make sure, you know, that's our dumpster as well.
So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll call a little closer to time, and I'll make sure you know what we're doing. If there's a problem, you know, we have lawsuits of people. We prefer not to haul it, clear out of town. It's usually not a ton of,
Yeah.
you know.
Just use the community, ballpark and fire department. Those
Okay,
are-
well, we use fair promise.
Yep.
I'll sneak up here on gate or drop it off. They're never gonna see me. The only other thing to mention, and we're working on getting permission, which we know is not gonna be a problem, in front of the old hardware. That is where our portal typically placements are gonna be. We will have an ADA equipped and a standard. We wanna get written consent because it goes in front of somebody's place. You know, we don't just presume in these things. We try to be respectful of citizenry. Final question, and I'll shut up and be out of here. As far as notifications to the residents, we want to do everything we can on our end to make sure that we don't have people parked that morning, you know, on the street, on Main Street and on the intersections there. So I have two proposals for you. In the past, we walked door to door with flyers. That's time consuming, it takes a lot of time, quite frankly, a lot of it don't even get read. Water bills is what I'm thinking.
We purchased some signs, no parking signs, that we can do
that's on my
that
list.
because we're starting a street sweeping thing, and we want to make sure to get the majority of the people off the streets. So we do have them up at the shop if you guys want to utilize.
We want to, and I had that on my list, so parking signs right after that. But my question to you was, if at our expense, would it be helpful, is it something you could even do? Your water bills, I don't live in the village, I have well water. If we were to give you inserts that we had printed that just announce the event, is that something you could put in with the water bills?
Our water bill is a postcard, so putting something in there would not
Okay,
work.
like I
And
said-
it's only like
It's printed around.
3 lines with very limited space on those 3 lines that we can put anything in there.
We're gonna make life easy, we're just gonna use your parking signs and correct it, you know.
I'm gonna help you make life easy and
Yeah,
say.
and,
And they are reusable signs, so we'll
Good,
expect this back.
wonderful. And if we could get maybe, you know, whatever you all can do as far as village, as far as putting something on the website, and we're doing everything we can, word out through social media and various forms. Like, well, here in the next few weeks, you're gonna see everything plastered with our flyers and stuff. It's gonna be a good time, but I don't have to sell you on that, because I know you all are gonna be there. We're just gonna have a wonderful time that morning, right?
Absolutely,
Okay.
Phil. And let me help you make it easy with, I will be going door to door for another event, and I will mention that date as well. I think we can put a line on the water bill. And do you have Robin and Will's phone number that own the old hardware?
I do not have their phone number. Randy Adams, who's a member of our lodge, is friends with them, and he is trying to run them down. I guess he does not have a phone anymore, is the issue.
I have connections. I'll
Okay,
call.
can you either call, or if you text me, I'll have one of our people do it. We don't want to be a
Yep.
burden to anybody.
You're not. I'll make it easy for you. We'll make sure that that is in written consent for your Board of
Okay.
Ed's.
Thank you. Tell them they'll be there on Friday. They'll be out on Monday at some point of that week. So in the 10th, they'll be out at some point the 13th. I don't have a time. And the only other thing I mentioned is, as before, with everything, all the craziness going on, we will be using a couple of UTVs, gators, or whatever. JD doesn't have, so I'm working on getting insurance to cover mine and other members of the lodge, so we have them there to haul things and people around. We will be carrying insurance. If you want to see a certificate or insurance, we get it written in a few days. We'll be happy to, I think we've done that before.
Yeah, that's a
the
good idea.
Yeah, we'll get to our certificate. We just haven't written it yet because we're still tied up, usually 30 days before we get it written.
Okay, so you're gonna get insurance to us, we're gonna help with the parking, awareness, I guess, and then you just need to know about electric, and speakers is off.
Speakers is off, and the electric, as far as that's concerned, we just want to tell you we're using permission. There's a switch on it, we have ladders, we take care of that ourselves typically.
Yep.
So,
Sounds good?
and we'll get the signs from you closer to time, our members, time before, so or the day before, we'll get them up for you.
Yep, she's not in the office on Friday, so then.
We'll get them on
you're-
Thursday before, how's that sound? Does that work?
Eddie or I can help you with that.
All right, and I sounds, okay, then, right?
Sounds like you got everything put together.
Yeah.
What if I bring like an ostrich and 2 zebras? You okay with that?
That'd be good.
If you want to do a petting zoo, I've actually comped some property for a very worthy cause. We're going to have one of the humane society, anyway, one of these places where you adopt orphan cats and dogs, they're going to be set up, so,
Nice.
yes.
Just don't bring a chicken, good grief.
So, yeah, you just leave your rooster at home that day, just to get you know.
I'll have to leave the family at home if you do that.
Hey, we're gonna have some really good food. I'm gonna tell you, these ladies down at the range, they've been doing this stuff for generations, so Dwayne's is very good too. I patronize Dwayne quite frequently, but, we do appreciate, by the way, just real quickly, another 5 seconds. We really appreciate the past years, everything council's done. We're very happy to be back this year after 2-year COVID absence, and, we hope to see you all there, and anything that we're doing or not doing, let us know, and we want to be, we want to keep good relations with this council and village. We depend on you guys just as much as you depend on us to put on events like this, so.
Phil, if you would, check that electric down there, because it hasn't been used in, 4 years probably?
Well, probably 2 is the last time we had our event, so.
Yeah, probably
So-
2 years.
So what we can do, we're having an organizational meeting Tuesday, weather permitting. I'm just gonna bring up an extension cord now. I'm gonna have some bare wires on the end of it, no receptacle. I'm gonna have somebody I don't like hold it, I'm just gonna plug the damn thing in and see what it does.
I feel like we used it with, I have a little speaker that we use tailgating. I
We
feel like
have one
used
here
it-
too.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years.
Yeah,
Well,
so it's a good idea to check it.
What we're really come down to eventually, and I mean, we're doing very well financially right now, but eventually we may have to invest in some PA style, something remote that wouldn't be cumbersome to do, because that's one of our problems. We just can't pipe the music from the DJ all the way up and down because it's such a vast area. But not the end of the world.
Got anything you want to add, Sean?
He covered it very well.
You did.
Oh, that's far.
So do we need to, well, I'll make a motion that we close the streets for the Cruise of Palooza,
All right.
as long as the Masonic Lodge does everything they're going to say to do.
Dwayne makes a motion to accept the Cruisapalooza's proposal for the day of June 11th and closing the roads.
I'll second
Do I have a
it.
second? Any other discussion? A vote for? Looks like we're all in favor. We look forward to this event.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, distinguished members of the council. I bid you adieu and have a great rest of the meeting.
Thank you for all your information.
Would you like your flyer back?
That's just for a media kit. The actual flyer's coming out, just what you'd like to see. If you know anyone in business wants to do some dealing, call me.
Yeah, when's the deadline for that?
What's that?
When's the deadline for a sponsor of your?
May 6th is what we're asking for all our buyers. If you're spending a lot of money, I can do that.
Okay, well, do we make
Did you want that
some-
copy or?
It does, we can share, I don't, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Have a good night. Thanks, guys.
thank you. All right, so we will go forward now with Ben Hedrick.
He is at a softball game, so he wanted to let you guys know that the mower that we're wanting to test on the hills has still not been delivered to that location, so we haven't been able to do that yet. He got gutters up on the service building that was tore down. It's actually in our, the very last thing on our payment list there. Also, the rest he goes, that's about it until we get down to other stuff.
May I ask, you know, I understand we want to demo the mower, but we have also waited a couple of months. May I ask what other people are thinking about that? Is there an urgency for us with season
The
coming up?
reason we wanted to demo it is to see if it stays on the lagoon banks, because that would give us a reason, because we wanted something that was going to be transferable between the street and there, if we needed to use it over there.
I recall the reason, yes.
I don't recall there being an urgency to it,
No.
because we replaced the mower on the one that failed, correct?
Motor, right.
Motor, and, I think this was more of a, we know this motor's gonna fail again in the near future.
And we put so much money into John Deere. We have two mowers that are running, but we need to buy a new one to replace one of them
Yeah.
before it does break and we're out of mower.
So-
You know, order new equipment anywhere, new car or anywhere, you have to wait unless you buy what's on the lot. And
Okay.
this is,
I just wanted to make sure we were running into season coming up soon.
well,
and
we
so-
have both mowers, plus we have the tractor that has woods mower that we've even talked about buying a bigger mower for the backup. That Benny, that was $4,900 that we could spend money if we got a real pinch, spending like $5,000 to $6,000 to buy a mower for a big four-wheel drive tractor.
That once they got the demo, they were gonna, the service department's gonna get together and discuss all the options.
Sounds good. Anything else, Ben?
No, not till later, he's got other stuff for
What
later.
about the culvert?
There is nothing on the culvert, we're still waiting for the funds to be available.
Are there any other estimates for the salt farm?
The committee was supposed to get together to go over the options, and they did not this month, so I'm assuming, they're gonna be doing that in the next week or two. They were supposed to schedule one this past month, they did not.
In the sense of urgency on that, with the deterioration in the lumber prices going up, what do you all think about that?
Right now, we were just waiting on getting the salt to diminish, through the season. We're pretty much over the season now, so,
I think lumber prices are actually starting to trend down.
Yes, we're-
They've dropped like 28% in the last.
Well, that's a good bit of news.
I mean, don't get me wrong, a 2x4 is still almost $9.
Yeah.
Just wanted to see the sense of urgency, making sure we're being proactive on everything.
The only thing I see on the salt barn is this barn's lived its life. And I think it needs replaced, either in its existing location or back by the water tower where the old, where the old water tower was and the new water tower. I just think it's time to upgrade.
Okay. All right, we'll go on to committees. So I think we've just covered a little bit of service, since they didn't meet, and the urgency or lack of urgency for the salt barn. Anything else? Budget?
Service. We have no response yet on all the letters that we went and sent out to all of the landowners for possible purchase of land for the additional wells. They were sent out over a month ago. We haven't had any response. So I think the service committee needs to get together and look at other options or other locations.
Would that be part of development as well?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so being you're the chair of that, Mark, do you want to create a meeting time? and
Sure.
Go forward with getting everyone together to see a plan?
Look for land acquisition and, yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
I'll have a report.
I can give you all the people that we've already informed to see if they would willing.
Well, the only bad thing is we have to centralize the location to where it's not costing us an arm and a leg to run, a mile pipe. That's something that we need to look at.
Yeah, again, with that sense of urgency, we want to get going on things because we've tried the right method of contacting people and asking for everyone's input. I'm sorry if I interrupted.
No.
We've all been through it.
Price of land is outrageous, right?
Did you have a point that I interrupted?
No,
Okay.
no.
I thought you were getting ready to say something the way you were.
No, I was just
Okay.
thinking out loud, use my hands.
All right. Jeff?
And this may have been discussed at the last meeting, my memory's not so hot these days. But was there a feedback on the engineer on either relining the well or redoing the well in its existing
Yes.
location? What was the engineer's?
Relining the well, he doesn't think they would allow that unless it was a dire, no other option case. And then, what was the other question?
Replacing it, so
Replacing
effectively,
it.
instead of relining, pull the old well out.
Yes,
put a new
and
one in.
putting one beside it, it would be the same thing. The engineer said the same thing, that he doesn't think the EPA would allow it unless it was emergency.
My 2 cents, my opinion
Yes.
is that we should look into that before we look into taking someone's property from them.
We have to do what we have to do for the 700 or 900 people living in this village. And I know we've caused problems
right.
way back in the past, but, we gotta take care of our people in the village and,
Just remind everybody that 16 years ago, they said we never needed it.
yeah.
We had a lot.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying, Rod, I just, so in my line of work, we have to find ways around things, and to be quite honest, I think there's a way around it.
I think
gotta
God's
be
gonna
one
have to
there.
pay off the wazoo for the land.
I don't think that's, I think it can be done without taking somebody's land, it's my 2 cents.
Wow.
I don't even want to say those 2 words.
Okay.
That's the driveway.
I don't want to say those 2 words,
I
but
think you're just about right there.
like Rod said, the betterment of the village.
Okay,
So are we going forward?
okay, yeah.
Anything else for service? Since Suzanne is the chair for the Parks and Beautification and is not present, I will give a brief report. We have most of the eggs filled and going forward with our April 16th Easter egg hunt. And our May 7th event is coming together well as also. Budget?
We met today at 12 o'clock. Present was myself, Councilman Rod Martin and Carrie. Carrie, was, we spoke along the lines of tell me what the budget is again.
The final appropriation.
I know, final appropriations. And she said that the final appropriations met everything that was said to be happening in February. Is that the right date, the right month? The first appropriations went out in February, correct?
The first appropriations are kind of fake numbers that we get right before the beginning of the year. We kind of set in, and then we get final numbers from the auditor.
The final numbers came from the auditors, and she had to change one number, which was to coincide with the paving that we did, correct? You said you moved one number because of the streets.
Oh, yes, I screwed up something on there, but yeah, I put the wrong thing on there, but yeah.
So then we also discussed the coronavirus grant.
Yes.
Trying to find that. And so you guys know there's a government grant come out. Our share is $77,306.28. We kind of, Rod and I and Carrie kind of discussed what we might want to go through with that. The second part of it comes out in two parts, and the second part doesn't come out probably until June or July, we talked, correct? So we kind of thought, in our meeting, we talked about the Main Street culvert that runs underneath the railroad tracks, or at the railroad tracks. We also talked about some sidewalk work and being involved in that.
So not for the coronavirus.
So, yeah, I was gonna ask,
No.
how can those monies go towards the COVID relief?
It can't, that was just,
Even the culvert?
the culvert
Okay,
can,
because it's water or sewer.
Oh,
it's water sewer. Water sewer projects can be done, or
Okay.
public health and safety.
Gotcha, I'll shut up now, sorry.
The well and the land.
Yeah, the well and the land, we also talked about that.
Possibly some lagoon stuff.
We tried to put some priority stuff together, and then we're also asking.
No, and I got the other one that I just thought of, and I was gonna mention to you, that replacing water lines, or old copper, or old metal water lines, somewhere along the line, we have to do that.
Ours are all
Ours are,
transparent.
we don't, all transite, we don't have any copper.
Or not copper,
I
but
mean, lead. We don't have.
We don't
lead.
have any more. I thought Benny told me we had,
The village is all transite. Now, the individual residents might have some in their
Oh,
system,
okay.
but none in the village system.
okay.
Okay, so you're saying culvert, and what else, Dwayne?
We talked about the culvert, we talked about the land purchase for the wells. Help me out here, Carrie, what else we talked about?
The valve pit replacement at
Yes.
the Lagoon 3, and possibly the dredging, if we can try to tie it in, because dredging typically wouldn't be, but we still gotta get close on that.
And like I said, 70, it's a pretty good chunk of money if we want to do something with that though. That money that we would like to entertain even anybody from the council that, wants to bring something together, have an idea what they want to do, but Carrie knows all the ins and outs of the grant itself and what we can spend it on, what we can. It's kind of narrow. So if anybody has any ideas, we're willing to look into those as well.
What is our projected cost for the culvert going underneath?
The culvert.
Our side of it.
Our side. Like I said, I'm not sure if the culvert's gonna be, able to be approved, but because it's a street project, but because it's a water flow, it might be able to tie it in. The culvert, I don't have those numbers here, but, I believe
Just off the top of your head.
we have, about 70,000 that's our cut this year, and then an additional 70 or 80 that's the loan.
The total project was
500 and some dollars.
$69,000 or something like that.
I just don't have the numbers with me, they're at the office.
But, Triton
Mhm.
said he wanted the bid and he'd make sure he got it and say he could do more.
That's good.
Might
Which
get it
is
done
the community,
Yeah.
of Mr. Cabell down on 16th Road, that he worked on part of that culvert and didn't charge much at all for us.
But like I said, I still have to find out if the culvert would work under it, since it is a street project, so.
So you'll have to write a request saying that, you know,
Yeah, what we do with the coronavirus money is, it's really things, you gotta spend it and then ask permission, and if you're wrong, then you've gotta pay back. So, basically, if it's a water or sewer project that is able to get grants through the EPA, you typically are able to get it, so that's why I'm worried about the culvert being, in there. But, I have to report how we're spending it, but we have to earmark it within the next year anyways, and have it spent, I think, by 2026. So we have time, but for me, since I work on the budget for a year in advance and I get a 5-year plan of spending other ways, I'd like to really try to get it earmarked by our next budget meeting, which is in May, because we got our budget we're working on for next year. That way, if we do decide to have it spent next year, we have it in the budget.
so, I kind of like the idea of the well improvement, since I'm forming a committee now, so.
Absolutely.
Yes. Would it be all right if I could set up an appointment with Alan Brown to discuss some of the options we might have?
He's already broke down how much
Well, I
he thinks it'll be
have no
costing,
knowledge.
so I have that if you want
Yeah,
it as
but I
well.
have no knowledge,
Yeah.
and I can spend 15 minutes with him down here and get, okay.
And then also we talked about future projects such as paving the parking lot.
Before you go forward with that, with your conversation, are you gonna gear it mostly towards culvert? Or will you also entertain the land acquisition?
I think Dwayne's got the idea, it seems the two we ought to try to focus on, since
then-
it won't be a big expense.
On a small scale, for water or for health and safety, I would like to see at the ballparks, the foot water fountains and hand sanitizer stations. On a smaller scale of the monies, not like, I mean, I didn't mean to interrupt, but if there's other ideas, just to throw that out there for health and safety, and I think that the COVID funds would cover that as well, but
I don't think that I know what you're talking about when you talk about foot or.
No hands,
Just
No,
pedal,
okay.
pedal
Okay, not-
operated, or,
ADA approved,
Yeah.
are there drinking fountains there currently?
yes.
it's just something that would be good for the COVID relief money, and my 2 cents now, go forward.
Okay, now, if we can forget about the COVID relief money.
Yeah, I just have to get my 2 cents in there.
That's fine. We also talk about future projects, and one of them being the paving of the parking lot. So, now did you tell me, Carrie, that we have to ask the council to approve for you to do that? Ask for the grant money? or-
Yes, we applied for it last year and didn't receive it, so we just need you guys' approval to reapply, and it has to be in our checks by, July 1st. So we just need council's approval to move forward on reapplying.
So then I'd like to make a motion that Carrie apply for the grant for the paving, it's hard to say, the paving of the parking lot.
All right, Dwayne has a motion on the
I'll
floor.
second it.
Any other discussion? And a vote for it? All in favor?
So we're still on services,
No, actually, that was budget.
budget?
And there was one other one that was to reapply for as well. What was it?
I'm sorry.
Do you
was it
want
last?
Oh, yes. Since we got the culvert, we held off doing applying for the license last year because the culvert went down. So we got the culvert for this year. I would like to move forward on reapplying for Life Street. We just need approval for that. And I think we've added, that one section of Moody and that one section of Kirby onto the Life Street project as well. And then that would be all the main streets completely done.
Other than Francis.
Yes.
I think Francis is already included in that, if I remember right.
No,
I have to look.
we paid Moody from Main Street to Francis,
Yes.
but we haven't done the loop for Francis.
I think it was included in the Light Street project, I'll have to look.
I don't think it's been done.
No,
No,
it's
that
the Light
was,
Street project that we're applying.
Okay.
so the Light Street is Light Street, Kirby, beside the school, the primary building, Moody from, High Street to Main Street past Annie Horton's house.
So does Moody actually cross over there and Francis comes off of that? You know, like behind Noah Henderly's house?
Yes.
Okay, so would Moody, would that include the Moody on that side too?
No, I thought we already did
Already
that.
paved the one side.
Oh,
We did that Moody
Okay.
with, Rose Brothers,
Okay.
or who was it come in and paved our house?
It was when we done Light
Spire.
Street
Yeah.
project.
Okay, so I believe that's it for the
We
budget.
just need approval.
Oh,
Was there
yeah.
a motion for the lights? Going
Yeah,
forward for the lights?
so I want to ask for a motion or make a motion that we
Go forward with the application.
move forward with the application on Leist and Moody Street repaving.
Kirby.
Kirby. And Moody.
Yeah,
No.
the Kirby, the other side, by the school.
Okay.
Parallel with the K2 building.
Yeah.
Because there was one, it's like Kirby Avenue and Kirby Street, and then it crosses over School Street, so that section.
There's a motion to go forward with the application for the lights project.
I'll second that
Ron made a
motion.
second, any other discussion? Is there a vote for? Looks like we're all in
Yep,
favor.
yep, I was
Thanks for
thinking,
keeping clear there, Gary.
if I could add something for a project that we could probably do out of our street fund, is this alley back here, in between High and Firehouse, from John's to Kirby. There has never been anything done in the 22 years I've been involved.
We had voted on some last year, to be paid last year, but they didn't get it in because of everybody's delayed. So there are some that's already scheduled for this year to do, and I'm not sure if that was one of them.
Okay.
And then if it's not included already, and then it is projected for the next year.
If we could just put that on the list. 'cause
Yes,
there's
I
gonna
think
be
it is.
some- There'll be some excavating because the ditch needs cleaned
Yeah.
out. and-
But we put the culvert on the other end, and I thought we wanted to pave that, not tar chip it. We wanted to pave that.
Yeah, I don't remember if that one was in there.
I don't think it was. I think we had alleys running north and south that we were going to tar and chip,
I
but
don't
this
know.
one we put off because we was waiting for that culvert put in,
I'd have to
or
look
catch
at the list.
basin, and we wanted to pave that, so we have to look see what paving.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the list.
I'm not a fan of.
There's like 38,000 and some change on how much of the alleys we're doing this year.
You look at Wilson Road and you'll see why you don't tar and chip things. And the only other thing I had was, the walking trail out here where the pavement stops till it gets to High Street down by Char's house. It's never been finished. Just to put in on
Yeah.
our street and paving.
A few years ago, the bike association that handled all that switched to another one, and that new company that's supposed to handle it said that they had like a 3-year plan or a 3-stage plan. First one was to get to 159, second plan was to get from 159 to 22, and down to Amanda, and once they got to Amanda, that they would be doing the payments, that's why we held off on that.
They haven't done anything since we
Right.
put it in.
So there's some goals.
Yes.
How about we look into that bike association?
Yeah.
And the street fund is aware of some ideas that Councilman Mark has. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
All right, let's go forward. Anything else with budget at this point from anyone?
Just have to pass the appropriations.
Okay, so we're going to the appropriations. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at those?
This is the final appropriation?
Yeah.
I'll move we accept.
All right, motion.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? A vote for? Fabulous. Now we will get to zoning.
We've had one fence application, this is for Ben's on Ben's list, and we've also, had one variance that was approved, for, 326 East Main Street to, put in, a business there. A lot of people came out to the appeals meeting, and, all of the issues that arose was addressed. You turned out to have had a great application, probably the most informative and dots crossed one I've ever received, but
Very well
we wanted
done.
me to make sure that was posted.
Do you have something, Rob?
Yeah. We voted to accept the variance that if they close their business, their variance goes back to where it originally is. Was one of my concerns, and I explained to them, and we had a big talk about that, and everybody, you know, it's right next to the school, we're gonna worry about alcohol, and that's their responsibility, but, you know, the community's gonna worry about that, you know. As a village, we wanted to worry about the main drain line running along the road that drains all the water from here that way, that we couldn't have a driveway, they had to use your existing driveway. And the other one was the variance itself. If they sell their property, that property's variance comes back to the village, and whoever buys it has to come in front of us again. So the next person can't put in whatever they want to, because we give these nice people a chance to create their business with, following all the regulations and whatever that they're following. And like Carrie says, what an outstanding application, and
And it was good forethought to make sure it was non-transferable.
yeah, and it's
Very
just,
good forethought.
and I was informed, somebody talked to me about somebody in New Lex that had done that, and I talked quite extensively to somebody about that, and that's just a concern of ours, and I know that they're, a young couple wants to start a nice business, and they're gonna have a nice business, and I look forward to hearing some nice church music or some nice music at times, just like the Presbyterian Church, bells going off, or the 8 o'clock.
So since, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Since we're amending the zoning code and we're putting that exclusion in there, we probably ought to have that approved to our solicitor, that restriction is legal.
It is legal, however, I think we need to, I've got it all typed up, they sent them a letter of all what the regulations were, but I also think that it needs to be, I've still gotta take it into the auditor's office and have it attached to the deed. That way, that stipulations are, and that was my plan to do.
Yeah, my only thing is you're putting an amendment into a new, a zoning request, and we want to make sure that it's protecting you, protecting us, and if you would sell or, decide you want to do something else, that these are the steps should be done. You don't have to go through the, it'll be wrote out and the zoning code will be correct.
Yeah, it says it's reversed right back to MS District.
There's words that lawyers have that we don't.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of lines right there, just each one.
Just wanna make sure.
Anything else with zoning? And services, feel like we pretty much went through that. Property maintenance?
Had 120 lights, I've taken pictures. I'm going to ask that landowner if I could go on their property to get a view from the east side, because you can't really get a good look from my back door, my alley, or the opening between Barney's and Dwayne Dobbs' house. Yeah, 120 so far. I would like to go on the other side of the ditch and take a picture. I turned in pictures today to Carrie. after that?
They have gotten their first notice, their second notice, and the prosecutor's notice, so I need, a vote of whether to send it to the prosecutor, be the first one since.
I'll make a motion to send it to the prosecutor.
I will second that one.
And I'll vote for it.
Me too. Tired of seeing people burn trash in my backyard and smelling stuff.
Mark,
Yes.
did you vote?
Yes. Ronnie, you gotta sign all three.
Just to follow up on that,
Yeah.
I sat with the District Advisory Council and met the new Environmental Health Director with the Fairfield County Health Department and different prosecutor. I've also spoke with several mayors and township trustees that have similar concerns with property maintenance and have been in correspondence with some people that seem to be a little more motivated than what we've dealt with in the past. With regard to Mr. Larry Hanna, I feel like he was overwhelmed in his position, and I'm not trying to say anything nasty, I just felt like he was overwhelmed, and now there's a new direction in the Fairfield County Department of Health and with prosecution of property nuisances. So I'm looking forward to some more progress with regard to property maintenance and the frustrations that we have. Development, do you feel like we covered that okay, or are there more discussion?
No, I think we'll get the ball rolling on that.
All right. Old business?
I just have a quick comment if I could. I don't know if this will fall under old business or not, but we had a litter cleanup. I think it's been a couple weeks ago now. It was very nice. Larry and I took one section, and Dave Price and his son were there, and Lena Fisher was there, and some other kids, and I'm sorry I didn't get their last name, but Tish
And rents?
and Wrights, well, with small kids, and we made pretty quick work of it. Worked out, I think, what did it take us, about an hour, Larry, and about half of that was spent talking. So it was, we got our section done, got that done, so it was good, made a big difference, and it was a mess, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, in the time it took us to walk back, somebody had thrown some cans there that weren't there on the, but
That's unfortunate.
it looked a lot better when we're done, so thanks everyone for coming out and helping, and appreciate it.
Yes, I appreciate it too. Thank you all for volunteering to do that, making Amanda a better place to live. And with old business, I have goals from 4 of the councilmen, and so I appreciate that. And Miss Suzanne Miller has accomplished one of her goals with getting certified with the EPA, so I like to recognize that. Going forward, unless anyone has anything else with old business, we're good? Go forward with the solicitor topic. Our solicitor of over 40 years resigned. We did post the position over a month ago with a deadline. 2 people showed interest, and then Mr. Corbin resigned. So we have Mr. Nicodemus remaining as a person of interest for our village solicitor.
Tom says that he wants to thank the many persons he's come to know from the village over the last 40-some years, and he has some good memories of what his second client at the commencement of his practice in 1978, so he just wanted to thank everybody.
I should have thought to bring a thank you card tonight, and I apologize, I didn't. But if you could pick one up, and everyone wants to stop in and write a little personal message on it, we'll get it sent out to them.
Is there any rules or regulations regarding how soon we have to fill that spot? Not that I don't want to fill it, but at this point, we have one person that's a candidate, or applicant, or whatever. It'd be nice to have, to be able to put it back out and try to get some competition.
I'll look.
I haven't met this, I know, I'm sorry, what's the?
Mr. Nicodemus.
Mr. Nicodemus. I haven't met them, I don't know. I understand they've been before council before, that was before I was here, and I would
And
assume
then-
they do a great job, it's just,
And he did respond, I think, with a couple dates, but they were not,
It was after he had already resigned, So I figured I'd wait to see what you guys wanted to do.
I mean, if this is the case, if we need to fill it, I mean, we've got one choice. But,
You could always do a temporary thing.
Yeah, I feel like, we posted that position for people publicly to show interest. And 2 people showed interest.
well, maybe we,
That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no,
I
I-
freely share.
I think we have to have a solicitor on the books legally to operate,
then I would say we make a motion to accept Mr. Nicodemus.
or at least on a temporary basis.
Temporary, yeah, at least, maybe till the first of the year and see
I
how it
was
goes.
gonna say, what kind of temporary do you want?
I'd say till, maybe we,
Rest of the year?
yeah, at January 1st, we can decide to renew it.
Officially.
If he does well,
All right, so Mr. Hamilton has a motion on the table for the solicitor to be retained on a temporary basis till the first of the new year, being Brad Nicodemus.
I second that.
Dwayne Manley seconds. Any other discussion? You want me to wait a few minutes before I ask for the vote for you to continue to?
I'm just
read?
trying,
I'm
somewhere.
almost positive that's what it is, that you have to have one on them, but that's why.
Well, that's, and I wonder,
That's why I
that's why.
mentioned maybe a temporary.
Well,
basis.
that's why I asked too, let's hurry up and get one on there, and if he does great, we'll just renew it.
I'll look it up when I get home tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure we have to have a solicitor on.
Did you say to the end of the year?
Till December 31st at 11:59 PM. End of the year, end of 2020.
All right, I just want to make sure I clarified that right on my notes.
Two.
Dwayne made a second to the motion.
Yeah.
Are there any other discussion? And a vote for. All in favor? Continue with new business?
Yeah, I can say this other times.
Before you bring up Adam H. in a quick 5-minute.
Corbin also said that he will cooperate with Nicodemus on getting all the files transferred that he had accumulated.
So if no one else has new business, I'm okay.
I'd like to dispel any rumors that I was going to leave the village council due to I was going to buy a house outside the village, and I think you have to live in the village to be on city council, to be on the village council. That house fell through, so I'll be on village council for it.
I didn't hear that rumor.
Yeah, what's up with that? I didn't hear it.
Well, I just wanted to dispel if there's anything out there.
Sounds like you want to start the roof.
What?
Really? Okay. Rumor dispelled. With the training on April 26th for the Department of Homeland Security, FEMA is doing some emergency management training. I know a couple council people have signed up as I sent it to them. I just want to make sure if anyone else is interested.
April 26th.
April 26th, I believe it's in Wellington, Ohio.
I thought it said Jackson, Ohio.
I don't know, Dave sent it to me, I am willing to share it with Rod and Mark if you guys are interested.
Would you forward that to our email?
I sure can. Dave and his firemen wanting to always be prepared, and me with always wanting to do some kind of emergency management. I will definitely forward it to you. Would you like it also, Rod?
Yeah.
Great.
I think I'm going, right?
I don't know, that's up to you. Did you sign it up?
I haven't signed that.
26th?
426, it's in all days during the day, it's like anything in our class, sorry.
And then I attended an Adam H. dinner with Carrie as my guest, and we learned a lot of information. Mental health and drug addiction is something I believe affects everybody, even if you don't endure it personally, you know somebody that does. My daughter overcame an eating disorder right during the height of the pandemic in my first couple months as mayor. So, my father has dyslexia, drug addiction. I'm a recovering addict. It runs throughout my family. And it's important, in my opinion, that we offer services in our community. We have elderly that are isolated and depressed. We have youth that are tempted every day to do things. And so we learned some good information, and Carrie has an idea to run past you guys, not to, you know, put anything in stone today, just to put a bug in your ear.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, that I went to the Adam H board meeting and dinner with Shar, and, I don't know if everybody knows what Adam H is, but Adam H is a countywide, program that works with local communities to get, awareness out and, for mental health and drug addictions. It kind of inspired me a little bit. I have some of that on my family as well. My son got into drugs in school, and there's some mental illness on his side, on my ex-husband's side of the family. So that's something I always want to focus on too. But I kind of elaborated off that. I talked to this lady at Ohio University and the Adam H board to find out what other legislative authorities are doing in our area to combat these issues. And they've come up with quite a few different ideas. They've talked about a council and mayor creating a advisory council with youth, some advisory council with adults that kind of, they can research and come up with a game plan to combat multiple different issues, from mental health to drug addiction to suicide prevention, something that you can get the awareness out to the community. They've also, other communities, Carroll, Pleasantville,
Freeman.
there was another one, I can't remember what the other one was. They're doing community awareness events, like a meeting thing. Adam H kind of helps them with funding and getting different people to do different programs. I'd like you guys to kind of come up with some other ideas that maybe we could throw around to see what we can do and bring to the community. You know, we've always focused so much on infrastructure, which is awesome, and that's what we really need to do. But I think we need to focus just like a little tiny bit on the health and wellness of the individuals that live here as well. So we think so. I'm hoping you guys do too. But if you guys have any ideas, I'm going to do some more research to see what other communities are doing and developing. Adam H actually has the funding, so if there's anything that any of the committees want to do, they can, you know, raise money themselves, or Adam H and or One Ohio, which is something that I say you guys, you can get funding to get, you know, information out.
That's good.
So just to throw some ideas around, if anybody's got some more ideas, and the more information I can collect, I'll get it to you guys, and maybe you guys can try to come up with a plan to, if you guys decide to focus on some of that. I mean, the committees could, or groups could, you know, it could be more than just the mental health and the drug addiction issues. It could be anything from the adults, you know, anything. So I just wanted you guys to consider and maybe come up with ideas and throw me some ideas if you got any.
Yeah, we wanted you guys
Yeah,
to consider, and I'm thinking we're going to discuss more on May 7th. We're having a community event, and Adam H will be here, so we're going to gauge interest, and then probably bring some more information within the next couple months to everybody.
Right, and I'd really like council's approval to kind of get out and do a filler to see if we can get and generate any people that might be willing to volunteer for any of this, and if we can possibly get some volunteers, you know, then we might be willing to set up something. You don't want to set something up that you're not going to get the volunteers to help run, so that's why I think maybe kind of just putting the word out and seeing what people think, but it's up to you guys.
What does it look like putting feelers out?
It's really just talking to people and saying, hey, you know, we're thinking about these type of issues, and would people be willing to volunteer, or some youth that might be willing to get involved, or adults to try to find what issues are facing everybody in the town and try to figure out a game plan and see if they're interested.
Well, I guess, so how do you intend to put out feelers? What does that look like?
That I'm not sure, that, I think maybe council might give me some idea. Maybe. I don't know, that's some ideas.
So you're gonna check with some other communities what they're doing?
Yes, I've
And
checked
give-
with 3 or
give-
4.
See what their
Yes.
feelings are, what,
Right.
so that would maybe spark it up for us to have an idea of
Right.
what they're doing, and maybe we can elaborate
Right.
on that to
Right.
see if ours, you know, so we need their ideas.
And your ideas, I'd love to see
Right.
what you guys.
But we
you
have
guys-
to, for me, I wanna see what they're doing, because I have no idea, really.
Yeah, so like I said, let's bring some more information back in the next
Right.
couple months, and,
Yeah.
Okay.
and as we information gather, bring it to you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is that okay with you, Carrie? Awesome. Okay, anything else for new business? Going forward,
Wait a minute, I see where we have 2 resolutions, is that?
Yes.
that's where we're at now, going forward.
Well, we was talking about the one Ohio, and
Yeah.
this is on the bottom there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't know the resolution number.
R1 2022 for the solid waste district.
Have you all had a chance to look at R1 2022 for the solid waste
Not all
resolution?
250 pages, but.
No, this was the one that's only 3. Yeah.
So do you need a motion to, so is this the, if we were had any readings on the solid waste?
We did, we waived it last month.
Not for this, this is brand new.
That's, well, it's kind of, because it sounds like we don't really have a lot of choice.
Right.
So I'd make a motion to waive the 3 readings and accept resolution R1.
Waive them first. Then
Oh,
mention.
waive them first? All right, so I'd like to make a motion then to waive the 3 readings of the resolution to update solid waste management plan R1 2022.
I second.
All in favor? Thank you for making that easy.
And now, a motion to accept. Resolution to update county solid waste management plan, R1 2022. In its entirety.
I'll second.
Vote for?
Yes.
All in favor? Next resolution, have you all had a chance to read about that?
So, I looked at that, I guess I'm a little confused.
Okay.
Or can we discuss now? or should we wait?
Please.
So I guess I'm trying to understand, so it looks like there are some funds out there to give us a substantial amount of money. So 35% went to the local government. But I guess that's, so I think Carrie covered some of it. I was wondering, what are we gonna do with the money? And I think that's kind of where you're at, researching what we can do. Is that
We
a
are.
correct assessment?
We are, so I'm actually on the board as a local government representative of Fairfield County for the One Ohio project. And it's, I'll read this, basically it's a settlement between the state of Ohio and various members of the pharmaceutical industry in response to the opiate epidemic and its impact in Ohio. The settlement resulted in a memorandum of understanding. Settlement will be distributed, a significant portion to those settlement funds will be distributed by the state board. So Fairfield County Commissioner Jeffrey Fix, myself, a law director of City of Lancaster, solicitor of Sugar Grove, and Darren Mulholland of Violet Township trustee. I sit on the board. You know, we meet monthly and we're trying to be proactive with this resolution to make sure that it goes through with legislation so that we are able to receive some of those grant monies and use it for things like drug awareness or parenting skills or, you know, preventative measures within our community.
So I think, I don't know too many families that haven't been touched by the opioid epidemic. I mean, I'm sure we all have. But are we confident we can spend those dollars? You know, are we confident we can spend those dollars? Because what I wouldn't want to do is take money and then them not get used and get wasted. So, I mean.
That's a good question, and it's not only for people with opiate addiction. So it's very clear, opiate is stated as, you know, a major contributor to this epidemic. However, it covers everything from counselors for drug addiction in juvenile detention centers or in schools. It covers, like Mayor Henderson's doing something with Adam H. where he has one day a week or a month, I'm not sure, and people can come in and say, I ran out of gas money, and it might be someone who's strung out, but then they get somebody to talk to and maybe a resource, and it might just hit one person in Amanda, and it might not. It might hit 10 people that have a niece or somebody they know. So to answer your question, I feel like Amanda may not have the drug epidemic hit us as hard as maybe Lancaster or Columbus, but if it was your brother or your son, would that one person matter to you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's, but you confident we can set up programs? I mean, because I don't know what they're doing out there. I don't know what programs there are. I'm completely clueless about that. But
It is in its
you got-
beginning
it's a-
stages, so
but-
I can't say with every bit of confidence that, to answer your question completely, that, you know, we are in Fairfield County. Am I confident it's gonna be used in Fairfield County? Yes.
Perfect. Then if there's no further discussion, I'd make a motion to waive the 3 readings.
All right. Hamilton makes a motion to waive the 3 readings on the One Ohio resolution.
To participate in One Ohio.
I'll second.
Thank you. There's a second. Any other discussion about this resolution? And a vote for? All in favor? Thank you.
I make a motion to pay bills.
No, we just
Come on, I'm learning. So now we need a motion to accept one, see, I'm catching on, it's a little slow, but we'll get there. We need a motion to accept One Ohio resolution to participate in One Ohio to help combat the opioid epidemic.
Thank you for that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mark seconds. A vote for. And now Dwayne, go.
Wait a minute. I forgot to mention it a minute ago. We are down 1 seat for the appeals board. Jim White moved out of the area, so we're looking for somebody. I've talked to a few people in town, and so far I haven't had anybody. I'm just letting you guys know that we're looking for somebody to sit on the appeals board. If you guys know of anybody that might be interested, to contact me.
Well, maybe if we can catch them, but I don't know what the appeals board is. Maybe somebody else doesn't know either. Would you mind
Okay,
sharing?
the appeals board is when a zoning or property maintenance appeal or variance comes in. They come in for that reason. It is 1 mayor, 1 council member, and 4 residents that sit on that board, and they're the ones that make the decisions for zoning. And
I absolutely love your willingness to learn. I do.
Well-
And admit that, hey, I'm not sure, I'm not
I've
familiar.
got no problem
Me too.
admitting I don't know.
Thank you for that. So, how long do they have to live in the village to be on the board?
I don't know if there's a stipulation on the appeals board. I do know there's a stipulation on this, but,
I've never seen any restrictions.
Yes, I have seen.
Now, and I will throw this, there are 5 people plus the mayor, but the mayor doesn't vote, right? Because there's only 5, the 4
Yeah, I think so.
residents and the council member,
think
the
so.
ones voting, the mayor's out, right, on that, on the zoning, I think on the variances.
I
Because
have
it can't be
to
a
research.
number, because it's 3-3
Yes.
or something.
Yes.
You know, it's just one of those things.
Bummer, Ron. Thanks
Now,
for doing that.
and I wasn't gonna be mean to you either. I just, because somebody says, it's can't be an even number, it's gotta be a not number.
All right.
I think what it is, you're there to run the meeting, to control it.
Thank you for bringing to the attention that we need another member on the appeals. Maybe you can put that on our website as well.
Yeah, it already is on our
Of course
website.
it is, because you're awesome like that.
Before, Dwayne, before you make,
Oh, man, 3rd time.
I was looking on the fund activity, and who's William Green and
Oh,
Roger
yeah, yeah,
Leach?
I have some questions too.
Say it again?
William Green and Roger Leach on the
William
fund
Green.
activity.
Yes.
Is him, and he paid for his, Barrett's,
Okay.
375.
Right, it just
And then,
come up.
what was the other one?
It was a decreased expenditure for Roger Leach.
Isn't that RJ?
That's RJ. That's our
Service
employee, that's
department.
for part of his payroll. It just breaks it down.
Why would he have a decreased expenditure?
Because he got paid, so it's a decrease out of,
It was $117.40.
well, it's broke down by fund, so some of his fund comes out of, it's broke down in different
All right.
funds, so yes.
Okay. Well, I just didn't know the given name was Roger.
The one Ohio needs everybody's signature, so it's gonna be passed around as well.
I also had a question about the bills. Who's straight line roofing? Is that for the gutter?
That was the other,
Yeah, I was wondering who did the gutters, because it looked like they did a good
Yes.
job. I could-
Straight line roof.
Yeah.
yes. Yep.
Here?
Down here. I think, I'm gonna look at it.
So, Logan Elm Road, you okay? Are you nervous today as you were the other day?
No, I said that when we were in the car, I'm okay to go in.
Oh, never mind. Never will say that. It just takes an old man to come see you while your husband is at home. I'll say you publicly be in order.
Well, you kind of did, Rod, it's on camera.
Oh, I
We
thought
still have a motion
No, we
to
haven't.
pay bills on the table.
Did you make that motion?
I made the motion.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Okay, now, motion to adjourn?
I second.
Ron seconds, all in favor? Thank you guys for your time.